Hello again, YouTube hype community, friends, subscribers, and random people that, for one reason or another, might be watching this video. I actually have been awake all night long. I haven't gone to sleep yet. I've been up since about 12:30 yesterday afternoon. So I figured since I've been talking to myself for this long, I might as well record something. It is 5:57 p.m. on March 14th, and it's windy as all get out, and a blustery 69 degrees here in Florida, my part of Florida. And one of the things I was going to talk about was something that was brought up yesterday by a prepper channel that I subscribe to. And I know you're probably wondering why I've been dealing so much with that side of things as opposed to pipes and tobacco. Well, this I thought some of you might be interested in, or at least find something to find something a little curious. It's actually something called the Georgia Guidestones, and it is a monument that was erected. It's considered America's Stonehenge, and that's the nickname it has gotten. And it is in Elbert County in northeastern Georgia. Now, what made me curious about this and a little, in some level, concerned is, well, first, it is the entire structure is over 19 feet high, and the entire thing is made of granite, 951 cubic feet of granite, and it has 4 slabs upright, and they're pillars that are squared, and on each of these slabs, these pillars, is an inscription. Well, the interesting thing about the inscription is that it all says the same thing. It's just translated in 8 different languages. It has, it's 4 languages: Sanskrit, Egyptian, hieroglyphics, Babylonian, Classic Greek, Russian, Chinese, Spanish, let's see, sorry, I'm reading over the information also on a website, and ironically, you can actually type into Google Georgia Guidestones, and you can get all sorts of hits that come up. Some of them are specifically for the monument, giving information about it. Some make mention to the person, well, I should say person, that created it. It's actually a pseudonym. His name, well, they're saying it was him, but it could have been a group. But the person's name was R.C. Christian. And so these slabs that are chiseled with the message, it has on the it has let these be guidestones to an age of reason. And that's, of course, as I said, translated to all these different languages. And the message also includes what's considered the new 10 Commandments. And these are what actually got me thinking. As it's written, it says, number 1, maintain humanity under 500,000 in perpetual balance with nature. 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So just by the first two, whoever this was or they were that created this is essentially saying that the people that are associated with this group need to control the population and make sure the population does not go over 500,000 people, and to wisely, of course, reproduce, making sure that the people are healthier, there's a good diverse ethnicity. Number 3, it says, unite humanity with a living new language. So, aside from the 8 languages this is translated to, there's going to be a new language that I guess will be the universal language. Number 4 is rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Number 5 is protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. So these people will be in charge of essentially being the lawmakers and the police for whatever population they create. Number 6 is let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Number 7 is avoid petty laws and useless officials. Well, that kind of goes against what we in America have as Congress, what we have as the other forms of government, like mayors, like maybe even president. I thought that was extremely interesting. Number 8 is balance personal rights with social duties. Number 9 is prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. That by itself is extremely extremely thought-provoking. What exactly is their plan with if something happens and the government starts to crumble, the economy starts to crumble, and people start eventually turning to their more base survival animal instincts and killing off each other. What exactly are they going to do? Number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. It actually lists that twice as number 10. And they are simple, of course, these new commandments, but the population, which many have argued that there is overpopulation, not just in America, but say, for example, in China and other countries where the production of vehicles are going to skyrocket. They are quickly surpassing what we in America have used as far as fossil fuel, because they went so long not having a way to get a vehicle, to get a car. They relied so long on bicycles and walking and things of that nature that they're just pumping out all these vehicles. So that would require the reduction in Earth's population. That would help the harmony with Mother Earth, and it would put for the people, the 500,000, it would give them a chance not to make the same mistakes. And we would still remain the ability to reproduce and have a evolutionary system that would provide survival of the fittest. It would basically turn back God's order of man to before the Tower of Babel times. And the tolerance must rule even over truth, is basically what number 4 is saying. So no matter what the truth is, we look at everything that's going on, look at the situations, and be tolerant for it. There essentially will be a international law, which means world management, and a supernatural or world management that would eventually become a supranational authority. Each nation is accountable to dictate the world law authority, and it basically the sovereign that we have now would no longer exist. Number 7, the petty laws and useless officials. That actually makes sense, as odd as that is. As many problems as we have people disrespecting police and giving them a hard time, saying F the police, and you can't do this because of my rights and things like that. This would anything that was petty or had no use would no longer be there. Mankind will be subject to the group's concept, of social responsibility. Now, the thing is, we don't know what that social responsibility and what that group's concept of it is going to be. This is going to essentially be a new world order. And those alive in this new order will see God alive in all things: plants, rocks, animals, space, the elements, and people. Now, humanity must recognize its secondary place in creation. Basically, nature, embodied as a god, comes first. Now, the interesting thing about the monument itself is that if you were to walk around the monument, there are, I guess you would say the word holes in the monument, and they are actually lined up towards the solstice. One shows, one shows the sun rising, and for each of the solstices. And then if you look towards what would be the roof section, there is a large gap missing that would always show the North Star. And I find that amazing too, because if everything collapses, and if there is no books or any kind of information, any kind of schooling, then someone would need to know about all of the alignments and things like that. There wouldn't be a calendar, basically. So that monument, which is essentially America's Stonehenge, like the name implies, is our way of figuring things out. This is interesting because there is a lot of conspiracies that predict what actually made this. It was created, June 1979, and the the person, as I said, this R.C. Christian, had announced that he wanted to build an edifice to transmit a message to mankind. And he represented a group. Of course, there's no information about what the group was, who the group was, or anything like that. But some of the conspiracy theories, or theories in general, point to the Illuminati. Some point towards some of the wording of these commandments are Masonic in nature, seeking harmony with the infinite. Kind of, it would replace the Judeo-Christian beliefs with the new spirituality. And this has some people put off by that, obviously. Let's see. It says in this article from RadioLiberty.com that Yoko Ono, of course, we all know who she is. Some say she broke up the Beatles. Some say she was the reason they fell apart. She did whatever she did mentally to John Lennon, but she was quoted referring to this monument, saying that I want people to know about the stones. We're headed towards a world where we might blow ourselves up, and maybe the globe will not exist. It's a nice time to reaffirm ourselves, knowing all the beautiful things that are in this country, and the Georgia Stone symbolizes that. So no one really knows the significance of this monument. But what is interesting is there is I don't want to say a plaque, but one of the stones that are on the ground kind of marks it out, says it's the Georgia Guidestones, and it says center cluster erected March 22nd, 1980. And then it gives a slight diagram of what it is, and it says the quote about the guide zones, let these be guide zones to an age of reason. And with that, it also has mention of a time capsule. And it gives the it actually has spaces missing for when exactly it will be brought up, when it will be opened. It is very elusive as to what is in it, but it does mention that it is 6 feet under this spot. Now, there's some controversy as to where this spot is, if it's actually under the monument itself, or if it's under the piece of granite that's on the ground that talks about the time capsule. And of course, there has been vandalism to the monument. There has been, and it's been cleaned up. There has been a security camera placed that records 24 hours, so they can be aware of who might be doing it, who might be doing what. If someone is trying to dig and find the time capsule, they'd be able to be alerted. But there is, as I said, in one of the pillars, there is a hole that's drilled into it, and you can see the North Star. And that was one of the requirements that was given by R.C. Christian for the building of this monument. It reflects his obsession with the alignment of the stars, the sun and moon. And occultists often worship the alignment and movement of the heavenly bodies for religious ceremonies, as I'm sure you might have picked up on if you've watched any of Gribley's Sunday rants, where he talks to his witch friend and she mentions the different pagan rituals that are done. But I found that interesting. I found it interesting that no one really knows if that is a bunker, if they're actually having a way of storing seeds or storing any kind of water or any kind of supplies. Because if this group is indeed supposed to be in charge of this 500,000 people, and they are supposed to repopulate, does that mean that this group let's say it's 100,000, and it's big enough to uh, to house 100,000. So that would mean they have food, they have water, they have means to uh, bathe and use the facilities when needed. They basically have a bunker under this monument. Nobody knows. And how exactly is it that these people that are in this group would know when it is time to go down there? Or even when it is time to come back up? So hypothetically say that there's an economic collapse and everybody starts with the rioting, and of course the rioting leads to uh, no stores having anything, as we've seen on TV, in places like Chile and places like Venezuela. Even when a sports team might win or lose, people riot. And rioting often causes several deaths. So now the world population from the rioters are becoming decreased. Now, is it the job of this group in the bunker to put an end to the endless killing of the people on the surface? And if it is, what do they do with the people that survived? Say they wait for 6 months. By then, excuse me, by then, people would have probably gotten to a point where they are foraging for whatever they can find. Um, Major cities are no longer actual cities. Everybody just kind of disperses. Some might disperse because of the medical reasons, um, the Black Plague and things like that, because no one's there to take care of the dead. No one's there to clean up after everyone. So there's going to be all kinds of health issues. Um, so of the people left, do these 100,000 that hypothetically are in this monument under, do they come out and start handpicking who they let in? Or do they just eradicate whoever's left and create up to 400,000 more by repopulating and what have you? These are the kind of things that I probably shouldn't be thinking of, and I actually made the mistake today of kind of going over that whole thing to what I thought was put my ex's mind at ease, because she, of course, lives 2 buildings away, and I asked her how safe she was going to be with my daughter. Well, her answer was basically that she has enough food for a week, and whatever happens, she'll deal with as it comes. The problem with that is once everybody finds there's nothing in the stores, then they're going to be going around to places that they think the people left, and ransacking their houses, their homes. And that would essentially mean they would come knocking on her door. Now, this is all hypothetical, of course. Nobody knows what or if or when any of this is going to happen. But for someone with anxiety and depression and no income and just all kinds of issues, this is kind of like a perfect storm of weird unsettlingness that I deal with. And that's why I have become more aware of what's going on around me. That's why I get a little uneasy when I hear someone outside screaming and cursing and pounding on something, because I don't know where or when it will start. It is possible that it will start small. And as we know, things that start small tend to smolder and eventually explode. So, yeah. This is actually turning out to be a big, long video that I wasn't expecting to make. So if you are watching this, I thank you. I appreciate your attention, and I'm glad I might not be talking to myself. Maybe I am. For all I know, this could be the last time I talk to anyone, or at least through technology. But with all that said, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone is staying, if they're on the East Coast and dealing with the cold front coming through, especially if you're in the north. I hope you're able to stay warm. It is going to be cold for a few more days, so hopefully the snow doesn't keep you blocked in. You're able to get to where you need to be, and you have everything you need. Until either you see me again or I speak to you again, have a good day. I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.